It's the Hollywood Rockin' Wrap-Up with your host, Jason Hadley. Mel Gibson's ex-wife lost half her settlement after a judge ruled her Howard Stern interview violated their divorce agreement. While Gibson pled no contest to domestic violence charges, she's legally bound not to speak in reference to her ex-husband because, from what I hear,
the first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club.
Jersey Shore's Snooki told reporters she's pregnant with baby number 2. Wait a second, when did we start only counting the ones that she keeps?
Well, I actually thought I was pregnant last week.
The nominees are in for this year's annual Academy Awards. However, my vote for Best Picture would be Kendall Jenner, Instagram. The story of a young woman's struggle to gain popularity over her 3 half-sisters by posting her breasts on the internet 2 weeks after her 18th birthday. Set against the backdrop of a reality TV insane asylum run by its most dangerous inmate, their mother. And that's the Hollywood Rockin' Wrap-Up. Follow us on Twitter at Rockin' Wrap-Up.
And the Oscar goes to...
All right, it is time for another episode of Drinks at Sunset with
The Wise Guys.
I'm J. Anthony McCarthy.
I'm Steve Sabo.
And we are 2 men of a certain age trying to make our way through this amazing town of Hollywood and Los Angeles.
We're trying to what our way through? Moik?
Make our way.
Okay, there's a make. Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking about the Bacon Insider commercial from Jack in the Box where he very confusedly says "moink."
Moik. Okay, well you definitely got that there.
Yeah, I think I screwed that up. Anyway, just trying to make our way in this town and create a career and a space for ourselves in this business they call show. I'm going to see how many other cliches I can shovel into this thing at some point in time today.
Fair enough.
So how you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. I am recovering from a little cold myself.
Okay.
One of those things that kind of jumped on me out of the blue. But
keyword is recovering.
yes, I'm doing good.
All right.
And the good thing is that I've been healthy enough to where it hit me and it's gone.
All right, that's
which
good.
is good.
That's real good.
How about yourself?
I'm feeling all right. Feeling okay. We got a little rain, last night. We're going to get some again tonight.
It is the apocalypse.
Yeah, for LA. That's
Los Angeles, there's rain actually falling for more than 12 seconds.
It's like frogs and toads and whatever coming out of the sky.
Exactly right.
Locusts.
And we are currently in the eye of the storm. There were 2 storm fronts, and
that's right.
Right now today it's cool and beautiful and
it's gorgeous
stunning outside. And for those of you that might be somewhere else in the country that are still in the deep freeze, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean for February, which is the rainy season for LA, it's been a dry season and today it was like 70 some odd degrees and sunny. Partly cloudy, but it was those nice puffy clouds.
Yep.
Really nice, and I was warm all day, so that was nice.
Yeah, the rain took out most of the pollution and everything that was in the air, so it's very clear. You can see all the way to the different mountain ranges around us and everything else.
That's true.
You actually get that little bit of nice, fresh ozone scent air and everything else. So.
But the other thing is, they said that it was like 75 accidents on the roads because of the rain brings up all that oil, whatever, and all the rubber that doesn't get blown away and
doesn't get washed away on a regular basis. It makes
everything real slick once it does rain, and of course people know how to drive in it because it doesn't rain that much, and so it's like you're driving on ice. So
it still
insurance companies love it.
Yeah, it still surprises me. Yeah, I tell you, when I first moved here to LA, I had 2 cars when I was living in Virginia. I had a Saturn that I had bought.
Nice.
And I was trying to sell my '67 Mustang that I had. But it was one of those things where I had the 2 cars on insurance there. I left the 1 car in Virginia to be sold. I brought the Saturn with me to California. I went in to get my insurance transferred, and I walked in and handed my thing to the guy. I was with Allstate at that time.
Okay.
I walked in and handed my account number to the Allstate guy, and he looked at what I was paying for a premium, and He said, "Do you think you're going to pay that here?" And I said, "I don't see why not." And he just started laughing.
Oh, yeah.
And it infuriated me. I almost walked out of his office. But it was one of those things where this is one of those places that because of
Sticker show.
all the different things that are going on here, because of lack of regulation or whatever, it just winds up being something where they can kind of claim whatever they want.
Yep.
And because of the number of accidents in the area and stuff, they can just say, okay, well, you're living in this area, you're bound to have an accident, so we're going to. What I was paying for 2 cars back east was a third of what they were charging me for 1 car here.
And it's by location too. I mean, it's strange because it's by what you drive and how old you are.
Right.
But it's also where you live.
Right.
It's like, what does that have to do with it? Well, apparently, if you live over here, insurance is this much. If you live over here, insurance is that much. And it's like, what?
That's what they keep telling me, but every time I've moved to a different area of Los Angeles, it's always been that one is the most expensive one.
Well, let's do a little housekeeping. First, what are you drinking?
I'm having a bourbon and ginger. It's actually, I believe it's the Seagram 7 and ginger ale. And it's got a nice piquant flavor. I'm enjoying it.
All right. I got the Oak Heart Spice Rum and by Bacardi and the Diet Dr. Pepper because I'm watching my figure.
Yep.
My girlish figure. And also, you're listening to us on Excite Radio here Thursday night. Well, we're glad you are. We're happy to have you. And when you get a chance, go to our website, thewiseguys.net. Thewiseguys.net. Come check out some of our hopefully humorous videos.
Yeah, and you can always find us on iTunes if you ever want to listen to any of our previous episodes. And you can always look on iTunes under the Drinks at Sunset with the Wise Guys. If you have any questions for us, or if you ever want to make a comment on anything that we do or anything like that, you can send us an email at sswiseguys@aol.com. That's sswiseguys@aol.com. And we also have our YouTube channel, The Wise Guys TV, and you can also find some of our videos and stuff there.
Yeah. Go to the website. You got some. You can go to our IMDb links. You can see what we've done in the industry, as well as a little background, and there's a blog there. And you can also buy some merchandise too.
Yep.
Got some Wise Guys merchandise for sale there. Check it out. If there's something there you like, let us know.
Yep. So there's the slim idea that we may actually do the Wise Guys again. We pick the winners.
Not slim idea.
Yeah, so.
I think I'm getting that feeling that it's something we should definitely check out. Yeah. I would love to try to put it in the location so we're not something a little bit bigger so we have a chance to do a little bit more. But we'll toss around some ideas.
We'll figure it out.
We got some time, which is nice.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be decided this week, which is usually how it does. Yeah. How it happens when we run the show.
Hey, you want to do it? Yeah, why not? Yeah. All right, call somebody. Okay.
Yeah, who can we get for this week?
Who can we get in the next 3 hours? So. But yeah, very good. And that's been one of my favorite things to see on IMDb is the Wise Guys. Who we pick the winners up on there.
2009 to 2013, and when we shoot something this year, we'll have a 2014 credit with it.
Yep, I like it.
So that's why I want to do it. And we did an Oscar show last year.
Yeah.
Which was I thought the guys did a real good job on that, predicting the Oscars. We had help of Stan Spielberg
right,
come in and be our guest host, who's
currently on location in North Carolina shooting something.
Yes, right. So. We hope. I think he's shooting some sort of Winterfest thing with all the snow. If you looked him up on Facebook, he's gotten a lot of snow the last couple of months here. But with that being said, speaking of movies, Godzilla. The new Godzilla coming out this May the 14th.
Yep.
I'm sorry, this May 2014. The new trailer's out. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, I don't know if you've seen it. I just watched it before you came over here, Tony, and it looks awesome. It really looks well done. You got Bryan Cranston, one of the stars in it, and at least the trailer was well done. Let's put it that way. So hopefully there's more to it than just the trailer. Sometimes it's all you get. But I think it's going to be. It's definitely going to outshine the last Godzilla movie with Matthew Broderick. So we'll see what happens. What you think? You saw some of it, right?
I've seen both of the trailers at this point in time, and I think they're doing a good job of actually building interest in it. Because to be honest,
they haven't shown the monster yet. They haven't shown Godzilla.
Before they
doing a Jaws thing where they show it at the very end.
Before they started advertising, I had no interest in seeing the movie at all.
Yeah.
But after the first
trailer where you just see him jumping out of the plane.
Right, exactly.
Awesome. I
kind of went, oh, this looks like it could be really interesting. So,
yeah.
And with the second trailer in place, it looks like fun. I mean, I'll definitely, because of what it is, because it's a blockbuster, because I'll probably go see it on a big screen, probably at a matinee, to be honest. So,
I'm going to go see it on a big screen.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll definitely see it at a matinee, no doubt.
Yeah.
But it's been kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say dead, because there's movies coming out each week. But, I'm kind of chomping at the bit, waiting for some of these big ones to come out, like we talked about before. Because right
Captain
now,
America, the Winter Soldier, I'm really looking forward to that. Some of the ads that have just come out for the new
well, you got
Guardians
RoboCop.
of the Galaxy.
You saw RoboCop, right?
Yeah, I saw RoboCop.
Tell me about RoboCop.
RoboCop. Here's the thing. I'm old enough to have seen the original one in the theaters and really, really thoroughly enjoyed the campiness of it and everything else. It was a lot of fun. And whenever you do a reboot or anything like that, you got to kind of let go of that and just try to enjoy it for what it is. And here's my thing. For whatever reason, I felt like everybody in the movie of RoboCop, every single actor in it did a good job. They did a good job with what they had. The performances they turned in were good. I felt like the story itself was lacking and that they tried to include some of the campy aspects of the original film without giving it any humor.
Yeah, what I read that it was kind of
disappointed me a little bit.
It was kind of a remake of the exact same movie, and it's like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
It wasn't a retelling or taking it to another step or taking it off to a different angle. It's like basically here's the movie before, here's the same, almost the same script, and they just had different people playing it. That's what I read. Now
it's not. There's aspects of that, but it's not. This is in this one. In the original, well, I don't want to give too much away, but this is something that you can see in the trailers. In the original one, Peter Weller's character, the guy who became RoboCop, his wife and kid had left him.
Oh, okay.
Had already left him, and they were part of how he recovered his humanity because his memories started to come back. In this movie, the wife and kid are present throughout. And bigger characters and everything else. And again, they did a good job. It just, for whatever reason, the story and everything else just kind of let me go, Samuel L. Jackson had a great character, and the kind of character that had the potential to have that campiness and everything else. And while he did a great job with it, it didn't land well for me for whatever reason. Don't hate it, don't love it. It's what it was. So
it's going to be a Redbox rental for me.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, coming up this month in March, because we're basically a couple days away from March right now, we got the new Veronica Mars movie, and if you participated
film of the TV show.
Yeah, right. If you participated in watching a TV show, everybody's chomping a bit. In fact, this was financed by Kickstarter.
Yeah.
They got like $3 million off of Kickstarter to do the movie, which is kind of neat. And then 300 Rise of an Empire. That's coming out in March too. So.
I'm actually looking forward to that. I like the Frank Miller stuff. I like how well it's been done on screen.
I like the first one, so I'm hoping this one will be just as good. I wish I would have saw it in the theater, but I'm definitely going to rent it. The Jack Ryan Shadow Recruit. That looked good.
With Chris Pine and everybody that was in it.
Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
And I don't know who the chick was. A blonde chick. She looked hot.
I don't remember
her
name,
good.
but I think she's actually an excellent
And then in
actress.
April, which is where I think this movie season starts for me, Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
Yep. I'm looking forward to it.
Cannot wait.
I'm looking forward to it.
Cannot wait. I mean, I've only seen the one trailer, and we talked about it, Cap gets into the elevator with about 8 guys, and you have to see it. You just have to see that trailer.
I'll tell you what. One of my favorite places to look at trailers on YouTube. There's a place that you can go that's called Marvel UK.
Oh yeah.
So what it is it's the releases that are being put up for the United Kingdom audience. For England and all that.
Oh nice.
And often because of just the slightest difference in the way they figure advertising works and everything, you see a slight variation, or you see a little more, or you see a little more story, something like that. And so I watched the Winter Soldier UK version of it, and it gave me a little more of what's going on. You see how much Black Widow is going to play a part in it.
Okay, so it's present time now.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, so it's not like the first one where, it was in the 1950s.
No.
Okay, so we're back in the present time.
Yeah, we're up to date with Cap. He's with us now. So
nice.
I've been seeing good things about the Amazing Spider-Man coming up.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the new Spider-Man, and I think that's going to be
That's
a
in
lot
May.
of fun.
That's coming up in May as well, along with Godzilla. So
Yeah.
that'd be cool. And then X-Men: Days of Future Past.
That's kind of where my, that's
yeah,
my big
right.
deal for me. So,
Oh yeah, Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in May. So like I said, April's going to where it starts with the Cap coming out, Captain America, Amazing Spider-Man, Godzilla will be a good throw-in. X-Men. Oh man, that looks so good.
Yeah.
And then for me, I'm a Transformer guy. So far they haven't let me down. Third was kind of So I'm hoping with the reboot with no more Shia LaBeouf and they got Marky Mark.
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg now is the main character. That they'll get some play out of that and hopefully some freshness. And then you got the Planet of the Apes guy coming out in July.
Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, a new Planet of the Apes, and it's going to be the next step after. Was it Oscar or who was the name of the ape?
Caesar.
Caesar. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next step now that Caesar's escaped or on his own, it's where it's going.
You really want to talk about the Oscars, don't you? That's where that came from. I see it. I can see it. So,
Oh,
okay.
is that what it is? Okay.
I can see that. So
and then
we'll get to them.
then-
We'll get to them. So.
And then Guardians of the Galaxy,
Which I mentioned earlier. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
that looked intriguing.
I
saw
saw
the trailer, and we talked about it last week. And
Yeah.
the trailer really looked good.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to do a good job, and Chris Pratt looks great as the lead character in that. So, and I did see the newest Expendables 3 trailer at the.
Oh my
or
gosh!
It's not even a trailer. It's just a nice little. It's just this nice little thing where they're doing the whistling from the bridge over River Kwai.
Oh yeah, so they're walking and then whistling.
But you just see them from the back in silhouette, and they're kind of moving forward,
Yeah.
and then they all stop and turn around, and the light comes up so you can see them all, and then just all the names of everybody pops up over them.
Wow, that's cool.
And then it just slashes away to 3 skulls, Expendables 3. It's just like,
fair
it's
enough.
ridiculous.
Fair enough.
But it's the first 2 were fun. You don't have to grow up with these guys to enjoy what they're doing. But if you did grow up watching their films, it's just another romp. It's a reminder of the stuff you watched when you're younger and everything else. And it's just fun. So
Yeah.
I'm looking
Yep.
forward to it.
I just read on the internet Star Wars 7, right?
Yeah. Okay.
They've got it. They're in the process of signing the villain, who's going to be the villain of that. The reboot or the J.J. Abrams is now doing Star Wars.
Right.
And Star Wars, and it's going to be Adam Driver, who plays the boyfriend on the TV show or the cable show Girls.
Okay.
So he the picture of him, he looked like he lost like 30 pounds.
Oh wow.
He looked skin and bones, and he wasn't a big guy to begin with. So he almost looked anorexic in the picture that they had with the article.
Wow.
So I don't know if that was because of a party he was doing, because in the show Girls on I think it's HBO, Showtime. He's kind of a beefy guy. He's thin, but he's still got some he's got some definition. Where in the picture here, he looked like he lost, like I said, a bunch of weight. So apparently they were going to be going with him with the villain. They didn't say what they said the villain's going to be kind of Darth Vader-ish.
Yeah.
So we'll see what that means.
Well, there's always a Sith Lord around somewhere.
Yeah,
A
I'll
Sith
tell you
Lord and a Sith
what.
apprentice.
JJ's got a lot riding on this. You know why?
Why?
Because he hit the ball out of the park with the Star Trek reboot. Okay. With the Star Trek, with going back to the younger, showing the characters as to how they met and stuff like that. The second installment was what? What the hell?
Right.
I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah.
I think he dropped the ball, if not fumbled.
It wasn't
So
terrible.
this-
It just wasn't quite what it should have
Yeah,
been.
it just So this, now that and he got both. He got the second one, and he got the Star Wars off of how good he did with the first Star Trek.
Right.
So now this, if he fumbles it here, it could mean a big problems for him as a Hollywood career, because these are 2 major franchises. You just don't want to drop. You don't want to drop the ball at all.
Right.
And you don't want to even have a whisper of that the fact that you might have dropped the ball. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
These got to be career makers, not career question marks.
Yeah, and you don't want to have George Lucas kind of handing the reins over to you and then screw it up.
And Steven Spielberg. I
yeah,
mean,
so-
Spielberg's probably over his head saying, "What the hell, man? Let's make it work." So.
Yeah. And there's so many of us that have such high hopes for this new thing. Those of us who saw the original Star Wars and loved them, and hoping that Abrams does what he did with that.
I don't know. What'd you think of the last 3, which would have been
They were entertaining, but they were not that.
Yeah.
They were they kind of lost to me some of the momentum and even just some of the innocence and things that created what became the Star Wars that we grew up on, which is the middle three.
Yeah.
The way he did it, because he did 3, and then he went backwards and he did the 3 prequels that led up to
Right.
the Star Wars that was the
Which
original.
is strange. I don't understand why he didn't want to continue it, but apparently,
Yeah.
that was his choice, I'm sure.
Well,
I think the big fumble was the wrong. He picked the wrong actor for Anakin.
yeah,
That was the fumble.
Yeah.
I mean, you get somebody else playing that, you get somebody else in that role that probably would make it a lot different, because there'd be different choices, maybe some different things that they would have thought of or said, or hey, let's do this instead of that. Those nuggets that happen in rehearsal, or even when you shoot 1 or 2 takes, and then everybody says, "Yeah, I like where you're going with that. Let's move in this direction instead of this one."
yeah.
And I think that was a big drag on that, because it was heavily Darth Vader. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what you found out what happened to Darth Vader and how he became Darth Vader.
Yeah, which is a great idea. It's
And,
something that you
and
wanna
I know it's
so.
great that it's great that they told that story. It's a shame that they couldn't have got somebody stronger for that role. Not that I could have done it, so I'm not
Yeah.
sitting there saying that it should have been me by any stretch of imagination. But it seemed, I think that's where the drag was for me.
Yeah, well, that and Jar Jar Binks was just a horrible character.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Just like, oh man. Well, Jar Jar Binks makes me think. I've kiddingly talked about the character of Sky in
Scrappy Doo?
in Avengers: Agents of Shield as Scrappy Doo.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where, for whatever reason, throughout the the last however many years that we've had television and everything else, somebody always seems to feel somewhere that we need to have a character
quirky,
that children will completely buy into. That children, so you give them a silly cutie character that winds up just really annoying. The horrible Batman and Robin cartoon wasn't anywhere near as horrible until they brought in Batmite. Scooby Doo. When the hell did they decide they needed Scrappy Doo to help out that franchise? Godzilla was a cartoon in the 80s. And what did he have? He had a sidekick that was a baby Godzilla called Godzuki, which was the size of a normal human being, but built like Godzilla, with brown puppy dog eyes. Because that's what you need to have a. So I mean, it just Jar Jar Binks was that, somebody thinking that they could do something to market to the young kids and just blowing it, as far as I'm concerned. Now, being the head of a big studio, I obviously know these things, and if oh, wait a minute, I'm not.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
that's right.
I forgot
So,
about it. Hey, I got a question for you.
go ahead.
Spaghetti, you a sausage or a meatball guy?
I actually like both.
Do you like
both? I really like both. But,
You like meatballs?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of meatballs, it's a shame to say that Harold Ramis, the director of Meatballs, the writer of Meatballs, passed away this week.
Yeah.
That's a big loss.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's one of the good guys.
Yep.
In my opinion, that's one of the good guys. When you look back at his career and what he's touched and what he's done, man, oh man, and to say that we couldn't have got another 20 years out of him, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he was in his 60s, right?
Right. He's he wasn't that old.
He's he lived a good life, no doubt. But boy, it's a shame. It's a shame. I mean, they're in the process of doing Ghostbusters 3. Now they're going to have to revise the script. But, you look back, he starred and wrote Stripes, Groundhog Day,
Right.
Back to School with Rodney,
With Rodney Dangerfield.
Meatballs,
Yep.
Animal
Animal
House,
House,
he was
yep.
a writer. And then he directed Analyze That and Analyze This.
Yep.
Bedazzled, he directed. National Lampoon Vacation.
The original Summer Vacation, right?
And Caddyshack.
Yeah.
I didn't know he directed Caddyshack.
Yep.
I had no idea, but he did. And I mean, what else do you need on your resume?
Really?
I mean, really?
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking Ghostbusters, Stripes, Groundhog Days, and Caddyshack, and National Lampoon Vacation. I mean, any type of gambit of comedy. I mean, it's there. If you like anything funny, you got it. You got it in any of those choices, with the exception maybe Groundhog Day was not necessarily a comedy, more of a dramedy. But
but one of my favorite films. So.
But Animal House, my God. I mean, Animal House set comedy on its ear back then. And
Yep.
One of the first movies, if not, one of the first movies a comedy movie to break $100 million, and this is back in the '70s when $100 million is like $300 million nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, that was big time money back then. So, and then Stripes, he not only wrote but starred in it, and and that's built that relationship with Bill Murray and with Caddyshack and so on. So, we got the video, the DVD of Caddyshack or Stripes, where they did behind the scenes stuff, the feature things, where they talked with Harold Ramis, and he shedded a lot of insight on not only that movie but also Caddyshack as well, which is kind of nice.
There's been so many different people doing little pay-ins to Harold Ramis over the last couple of days. I think one of my favorite ones, though, President Obama. Barack Obama actually had some very lovely things to say about him, and the very last part. And this is the thing, I want to find this to make sure that I'm saying the right thing. But he actually finished it with the quote saying, "We hope that he achieved complete enlightenment, which was or complete consciousness." Because that was the line that Bill Murray had in Caddyshack, where that the Dalai Lama gave him for caddying for him. It's like when you die, you will achieve. I know, and I'm not doing the quote right now. But President Obama actually had that in there without calling notice to it. He just said it. I appreciated that. So.
One of my favorite lines is from Animal House. Is my advice to you is to start drinking heavily.
Yeah.
And he hands him a 6-pack.
Yeah.
Hands Flounder a 6-pack. That was great.
Exactly right. So.
And that's another thing. I mean, you're smart enough to see, and I know he didn't direct it, but he was part of the writer. But the John Belushi only had certain so many lines in Animal House, but when he got there, they realized that this guy could be so much more. So they started giving him more and more to do, and that's what happens when you get the right people. When you get the right people in the right roles, that all of a sudden these little bit parts turn into something that make the movie that much better, because now they grow. The actor brings more choices or ideas and nuggets, and all of a sudden, that it makes sense to expand or include and make that part of the show, and it's just great. But I didn't realize he directed Bedazzled. That was a fun movie. That was a lot of fun.
I like the original a lot, but I thought they did a pretty decent job with the new one as well. The original Bedazzled with Dudley Moore and Peter Cook, which was one of my favorite films from the 60s. So.
Yeah, you got Ghostbusters, Stripes, Groundhog Days, Meatballs, and Caddyshack, all with Bill Murray.
Yeah.
That's pretty strong.
Yeah.
You're doing something right. You can get Bill. You can be Bill in that many movies, because Bill doesn't have an agent.
Right.
You
call and you pitch it, and
he has a answer machine. You have to leave a message on an answer machine. You leave your pitch, and then he'll decide if he wants to call you back. That's how Bill Murray works it. Go ahead.
Hope that he received total consciousness, which was the line that the Dalai Lama, when he caddied for him, said that he would be granted total consciousness on his deathbed.
Oh, okay.
And that's what Barack Obama said. I appreciate that. So,
there you go.
I mean, think about that. Whether you love or hate President Obama, that's how far-reaching Harold Ramis was. That our current president, grew up on his stuff as well, to the point that
absolutely.
he quoted him right there. You know what
go.
I mean? So it's just that's how much influence Harold Ramis had on our comedy outlook and everything.
Got any
else.
favorites on the list here?
Oh, for crying out there's Groundhog Day and Animal House are the two top ones for me.
Yeah.
Followed by National Lampoon's Summer Vacation, Caddyshack, and Stripes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I have to agree. Although I enjoyed both the Analyze movies with Billy Crystal and Bobby D. Mm-hmm. Bobby De Niro.
Yeah.
I thought they were well written. I thought they were well done. And it kind of lended a lot of credence to Sopranos, because it kind of happened prior to Sopranos, and all of a sudden you got Sopranos coming out with a guy who's a mob boss who needs a shrink. Gee, that's kind of what Analyze That was all about, wasn't it? I wonder where they got that idea.
But looking at it seriously, as opposed to taking the piss out of it like they did in the movies. So.
But I thought they did a good job with that. And then, of course, Ghostbusters. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, that was just a great movie.
That's too much fun.
Yep.
And Ghostbusters 2 was fun too. It just it never got quite the same reputation or anything like that. So.
But I was looking forward to 3, and the big holdup to some degree was Bill. because they were going, Bill's in, no, he's out. No, he's in, no, he's out.
Yeah.
And now we lost Harold, so I don't know how they're going to do it. Hopefully they'll still make it happen. So that'd be nice.
One of the most both entertaining and kind of awe-inducing tributes I've seen to Harold Ramis was a cartoon that somebody had drawn, and it showed the rest of the Ghostbusters standing facing one of the ghost traps. And coming out of the ghost trap or going into the ghost trap was Harold Ramis' ghost, Egon's ghost.
Oh, wow.
And they're all kind of waving goodbye to him. I'm like, oh, man. Got
Well,
you right,
we
right in the feels.
We talked last week who was going to, things happen in threes. We lost Sid Caesar and Shirley Temple. There's our third, Harold Ramis.
Harold Ramis,
My gosh.
another big comedy guy. So,
Yeah. That's a shame. That's a
But,
shame.
it's funny. I sit here and we're talking about all this stuff, and I look at all of these movies that we just talked about. Every single one of these movies. You and I both are out here. You and I are both got our fingers and stuff, and none of those movies are movies that I even got to look at. There's none of those movies
From an
were
audition standpoint.
From an audition
Right.
standpoint,
Right,
it's like
right.
there's so much work out there. There's so much stuff going on, and yet if you're not right on the pulse, if you're not in there in the mix all the time, you don't even get a look.
No.
You don't even get a look, and that's just part of the business.
It's it's one thing that if you go in, you audition, and then you don't get the part.
Right.
That's one thing.
Yeah.
But if you don't even get in the room to even get a whisper of an opportunity, that's probably the hardest part about this industry.
Yeah.
Is they don't know if you're good or bad. They
Right.
just don't know,
Right.
and the problem is they make it very, very difficult. And I say the industry makes it very, very difficult for them to find you.
Yeah.
And I can't believe after all this time and after the way it's been that they don't figure it out to make it work better.
Yeah.
Because you got casting and they always say our job is to find the people. We want you to do good in the room because it makes our job a lot easier.
Yeah.
Well, then why aren't you seeing as many people as you can, or setting up things in ways to be able to find the talent? So they have an opportunity to get in the room and at least have a shot at it.
Right.
Because I have a feeling that even though they have their lists and they get some, they do certain things to try to expose themselves to talent, they've probably only seen half that's out there.
Yeah.
Or even have a knowledge of half. And that's probably at the best guess. May only be a quarter. So how can you sit here and say, well, I'm trying, we want to see you to do the best because it makes our job easier, when there's really nothing set up to see the other 75% that's out there that could be great for the part that make your job easier. So, that's tough. That's really, really tough when you got guys like us who are doing the things that we need to do. We're going out there. We're staying active. We're staying creative. We're trying. We're taking classes. We're following the industry. We're serious about it as actors, and yet we can't even get in the door. We can't even get a shot at a pre-read, for goodness sakes.
Yeah.
Just give me a shot. Say if you don't like it after you see me, that's fine. But how do you know if you've never seen us?
Yeah. On the flip side of that, though, is like there's so many people who think, how they can come out to LA and be a star. There's so many people who, think, well, anybody can be an actor and stuff like that. And I'll tell you right now, as far as I'm concerned, I'm an improviser and I'm an actor. I believe, which I think is both two sides of the same coin, I believe that anybody can be an actor. I believe that anybody can be an improviser. I believe very few people can be really good actors and could be really good improvisers. And there's a really a line in there of the people who are able to just subsume themselves in roles, or have the personality to be somebody we want to watch to do things. And so I understand on one level why they don't see a lot of people, because they're going to be inundated by just talentless hacks. I've helped out. It's one of those things to go in and volunteer yourself to be a reader for a casting director sometime, and sit in the room and read opposite people who have resumes and stuff like that, and realize in some cases some people just can't do a cold read, can't do auditions very well. But
right.
That's to me that's an excuse. You need to be able to be good at all aspects of your job, and that's part of it. But there are people who walk in the door that I just go, you really think that was good?
Yeah.
I would never say that to them. I wouldn't say it to their face or anything like that. And maybe they had an off day or something like that. I know there's one or two rooms I've walked into and I've walked out going, wow, these people are going to hate me. I just blew it.
Yeah.
I just blew it. And in one case, I've never been called back by that office. I think they remember me as somebody who can't do the job. But, overall, you look at my resume, you look at the stuff that I've done, when I walk in the room, the response that I get from everybody in it, I should be working more often. So.
Well, I remember, and just to piggyback on what you said about, you go in there and you lay an egg, and, sometimes that's all you get. It's the one shot. I remember it was, I drove down to Long Beach, for goodness sakes, and it's one of these same-day auditions.
Right.
And it's like 2 paragraphs.
Right.
I didn't have any chance to prepare, so I'm basically reading off the freaking card, and I just chunked it bad. I mean, and I knew it, but, at least I'm there on time and, doing the best I can under the circumstances. Well, that casting director never called me back, but I ended up getting in on a infomercial. Where the casting was involved, but they called me in as kind of like a featured background person.
Okay.
But then they started throwing them lines.
Okay.
And she picked everybody but me because of that previous audition a year prior to that.
Right.
Well, finally it got to where they wanted to see guys.
Right.
So I was one of the guys. And so they gave me something to say.
Yeah.
And because, I didn't have to do it. I didn't have 3 paragraphs. I was probably the smoothest one out there, and,
right.
and I could just see her reaction after she saw me do it. She was kind of like one of these, oh no, hey, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
And it was just because, I felt a lot more prepared, a lot more comfortable, and not under the gun. I was already out there, but after that, I got called in again because then she realized that maybe that wasn't a
Maybe it
good
was just that day,
evaluation the
yeah.
first time, and she saw me in a different light, and that's the industry, man. It
Yeah.
really is. Sometimes you only get one shot, and if you're lucky enough to get another one, you can turn it around, or that solidifies their initial reaction. So
there's a guy out here in L.A. he's a very successful voiceover actor. He's been an actor in a couple of films. He's also written and produced a couple of very, very successful films. And he and I were acquaintances,
mm-hmm.
and he was working on like basically what would have been a web series before web series were really starting to be a thing, right?
Right.
And he asked me to come in and play a part, which I was very much looking forward to. I got up that morning, slipped in the bathtub, and blew my back out.
Oh, jeez.
Called him, said I couldn't make it in, and that was it with him. That was it. I was somebody who couldn't be trusted to show up. And it was one of those things where people say, oh, no, that's not the case. That's not the case. That's just one of those things, blah, 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 blah. And I bumped into him 2 years later, possibly 3 years later. Bumped into him at a commercial casting office. We got on the elevator at the same time. I said, Kevin, how you doing? And he said, hey, how you doing, Anthony? How's your back?
Wow.
That was the first thing that came out of his mouth. So it's one of those things where you don't get to make a first impression more than once. That's it,
Yeah.
And if you come off as somebody that they can't work with, don't want to work with or something, that's it.
Yeah.
You've got to really convince somebody to be able to see a different light. What you did was pretty cool. So
let's look at our own experience of shooting the Wise Guys.
Oh God.
Talk about first impressions. We had a pretty good first impression this last season we shot with our first episode.
Yeah.
Where I don't know if I don't know if that would be somebody I would want to get back on the set again.
No.
Yeah, and it's
ever.
Yeah, and it wasn't a 30-second first impression. It was a 2-hour first impression.
And that's not even somebody I'd want to ride on a bus with.
Well,
to be honest.
I mean, she's probably a nice person, but she just didn't understand what she was doing or how she was doing it, or she made false claims.
Yep.
I can do this, I can do that. I know, and she had no clue on how any of it worked,
right.
and by questioning and demanding, just kept opening up her ignorance to the fact, or acknowledging or exposing her ignorance to the fact that she had no idea what the hell she was talking about, and just basically bald-faced lying her way on there, and
right.
and it's a lesson leared for me.
Yeah. Oh, definitely a lesson learned. So. And that's one of the things when I
can get it from that point of view. I can get it from that side. Yeah, okay. If it's one thing laying an egg, it's another thing bald-faced lying on your credentials.
Absolutely.
And saying I've done this, I've done that, and not even knowing what a take means.
Yep.
How to do a take, and that we actually do a safety. What's a safety mean?
That means we're going to do another one
just in case the first one had a glitch in it, so you got a So you got one that's protecting that scene, so you don't go into editing and find out you can't use the only one you shot because there's something wrong with it. So
Right.
that's called let's take one for safety. And she's like, "What do you mean? We got to do it again? I
Gotta
don't
do it
understand
again?
that. Why do we got to do it again? I thought that was great. I'm good." And I'm like, "Well, you're not the director."
Yep. No, it's one of those things. When I came out to LA, I mean, there was the idea of nepotism, and I may have talked about this before. Forgive me for repeating myself, but again, man of a certain age, so
Yeah, we have those moments. Don't we?
But talking about nepotism, talking about you take a look at like Clint Eastwood always worked with the same group of guys.
Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler works with the same group of guys, and on
Ron Howard.
Ron Howard.
Oh man,
On the one hand, you admire them for it because you want everybody to get work, and you want to do that and everything else. But on the other side, you kind of go, why aren't they giving anybody else a chance? Why isn't anybody else getting a chance to get in the door and everything? Well, A, people are, but B, what winds up happening, and we learned this. This is part of our learning process.
Yep.
Me shooting Ann Boris and us doing We Pick the Winners together and everything.
with the WiseGuys.
You want to work with the people who show up,
Yep.
give their A game, have a good time with you, and that's it. That there's no extra drama. The more drama there is, the more problems there are, the more people are late, the more people, and here's the thing, I've been notorious for being late on certain things, I try not to be, but it's one of those things. But when you have somebody, like when it comes time to shoot something, I'm on time, I'm there, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go when I need to be and everything else. I don't make anybody wait for me. When you have somebody who's done that to you more than once, when you have somebody who shows up and says, by the way, when are we going to wrap? I have this party I want to go to. Things like that, you kind of go, okay. And you don't hate them for it, but you just go, do I want to work with them again?
Right,
Not
right,
really.
right. That
So,
extra baggage that's coming there that you're going, man, we got X amount of time to knock this out. I want people who can get off book as quickly as possible, if not already off book, so they know, so they're coming in with already some choices made.
Mm-hmm.
So all we have to do is tweak it instead of coming in and rehearsing for an hour and a half of the 2 hours, just so they can understand what the hell the scene's about or whatever.
Right.
And these are exaggerations, but that's the point. They're coming in, they're ready to go, as with the exception of tweaking if we're going to tweak. And the other thing is they have a good attitude about it. They want to be there. It's not necessarily I got to do this, I got to do that. It's just like, oh really, or they're just bringing everything down.
Yep,
I mean,
yep.
People that are fun, they're having a good time. Hey, let's try it this way. Yeah, great. Let's do another one. Yeah, they're excited about it. They think it's whatever they're doing is great, whether it is or isn't. That's what they're telling us. That's the kind of people you want to come back. And then when you say, hey, let's do this again next week.
It's the Hollywood Rockin' Wrap-Up with your host, Jason Hadley. Mel Gibson's ex-wife lost half her settlement after a judge ruled her Howard Stern interview violated their divorce agreement. While Gibson pled no contest to domestic violence charges, she's legally bound not to speak in reference to her ex-husband because, from what I hear,
The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club.
Jersey Shore's Snooki told reporters she's pregnant with baby number 2. Wait a second, when did we start only counting the ones that she keeps?
Well, I actually thought I was pregnant last week.
The nominees are in for this year's annual Academy Awards. However, my vote for Best Picture would be Kendall Jenner, Instagram. The story of a young woman's struggle to gain popularity over her 3 half-sisters by posting her breasts on the internet 2 weeks after her 18th birthday. Set against the backdrop of a reality TV insane asylum run by its most dangerous inmate, their mother. And that's the Hollywood Rockin' Wrap-Up. Follow us on Twitter at Rockin' Wrap-Up.
And the Oscar goes.
Big meals. Sausage, Isaiah. Like a token sausage, Isaiah.
on people, that's not what I mean by that at all. Just,
I got you.
It's just, you got to do good work to get, get kudos and everything. But it's coming along, and I'm feeling really good about it, and I really appreciate the cast, and we're doing a lot of work on the set right now.
Yeah.
The floor is going to look like it's been tiled, like with Italian tile.
Oh, nice.
And this is being done.
Now, this is where I saw the play where you did for Christmas.
Yeah. It's a Wonderful Life radio play.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
This has been made over.
Really interesting. It's a wide space.
Yeah, it was being made over into a French villa.
Okay.
And by tape and paint, we've created through a long period of time of tape and paint, we're creating what appears to be, like fine Italian tile and everything in a French villa. So
Very nice.
it's going to be pretty amazing once it's all put together. And I'm seeing some of the costumes now, and it's going to be really vibrant and really lush when it gets all put together. So
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you something. Have you eaten it Outback lately?
Have I eaten it Outback lately? No, I haven't. Is it?
I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but I got these coupons that I got when I first moved out here for $10 off.
Okay.
So I cashed one in. I said, I'm going to treat myself. I haven't had a meal that I haven't cooked myself, a meal in a
Right.
long time.
Right.
Or pulled out of a microwave, okay?
Right. No, I understand.
I won't call that cooking myself. But so I treated myself to Outback, and I got the petite filet mignon,
Okay.
little garlic mashed potatoes, green beans, and a side salad.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I left out the bread, because usually I eat 2 loaves of that frickin' bread, and then by
Oh.
the time the meal comes, I don't want to eat anything.
Yeah.
Because I just gob out the bread. I love bread and butter.
Yeah.
So I left out the bread. I started with the salad, and I'll tell you what, it was delish.
Sounds good.
Now, the last time I went to Outback was maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I got the sirloin with the same meal, just the sirloin instead of the filet.
Right.
And, it's a lot less expensive, but the sirloin was a little tough. This time, the filet was tender.
Right.
And it was delicious. So I was very, very happy with that meal. In fact, I only ate half because it filled me up.
Good.
And because of the way I'm eating my foods now, I'm eating a lot of smaller meals throughout the day instead of 3 big meals. Took it home, ate it for dinner the next night. It was just as good.
Nice.
And so real happy with that. So I was glad that it didn't let me down, because like I said, the last time I went there, it kind of let me down because the sirloin was kind of tough. And I'm like, that's too bad, because Outback used to be pretty good from an average priced steakhouse,
Right.
Plus, you can go in, if you're not with a big group, and sit at the bar and get served right away. You don't have to wait an hour like it is out here, an hour and a half to get a table.
Right.
With the little vibrators and stuff like that. So, but a couple of things are happening with fast food. I don't know if you know. McDonald's
Yeah.
is now going to be trying to serve breakfast throughout the day instead of cutting off at 10:30, which is interesting.
Well, because they saw what Jack in the Box has done very well with themselves.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then Taco Bell is coming out with a breakfast.
Yeah.
They're coming out with the waffle taco. It's going to be a waffle with a sausage wrapped in and eggs in the top.
Oh, my
Wrapped
God.
in a waffle and drizzled with syrup. Boy, that sounds good, doesn't it?
It actually does sound good, sadly.
It absolutely sounds delicious. But unfortunately, it's not going to be something on my diet.
No.
But with that said, let's talk a little bit about the Oscars.
Okay.
What do you say?
I'd love to.
Wait a minute. Did you know these guys are coming over?
I didn't realize.
Oh my
they were coming up.
gosh, it's the Wise Guys. Holy cow.
Yeah. Hey, how you doing? I'm Big Pauley. This guy over here has been here 2 times.
Hey, how you doing?
And we are the Wise Guys, and we're here to bring you our award-winning show, We Pick the Winners. Where?
We Pick the Winners.
All right. So what are we doing? We're not doing football today.
Not doing football this time around. You know why?
Why?
It is Oscar season.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to do the Oscars, and here's
All
what
the
we're
actors
picking.
and actresses and all that,
Best
yeah.
actor, best actress, best supporting actor and actress, and best director, and of course, the pièce de résistance.
Right.
We're doing the best picture.
Was that Italian?
I thought it was French, but I don't know. Could have been.
Because it didn't sound Italian.
It wasn't
That's
Italian
no,
at
it
all,
didn't
because
sound Italian.
there's no sausage on the plate. Come on, you're talking about a little cream
No
puff or
sausage,
something.
yeah. So,
Well, let's jump right into it because we don't got a lot of time.
All
Okay,
right, all
first
right.
let's talk about Best Actor.
All right.
Okay, let's say
who we got in this here?
nominated for Best Actor, because if Stan Spielberg was here, it was all about the list.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
last
yeah,
time
yeah,
it was
right,
all about
right,
the list. So
right,
let's
right.
get to the list. Christian Bale is nominated for Best Actor for American Hustle.
Got it. All right. Bruce Dern is nominated for Nebraska.
Leonardo DiCaprio. I mean, come on,
Yeah,
Leonardo DiCaprio. How can you not go for The Wolf of Wall Street?
Chiwetel Ejiofor for 12 Years a Slave.
That's easy for you to say.
Yeah, I like the guy. I've seen him in movies.
And
I
of
think
course,
he's good.
we got Matthew McConaughey nominated for Dallas Buyers Club.
All right, there you go.
Okay.
Those are for the best actor. Who's your pick?
Who's my pick?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna go a little homeschool here. I'm going a little with my heart. I'm going with Leonardo DiCaprio,
Ah.
The Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, you know what? There's a lot of people talking about the fact that he's going to get it this year just because he hasn't gotten anything before.
Sentimental favorites is somebody else.
Exactly. Yes.
Somebody else. And I'm waiting for your pick before I say who it is.
Okay.
Who's your pick?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm thinking because of all of the great press this guy has gotten on this in particular this year, it's going to be Matthew McConaughey for Dallas Buyers Club.
That is a sentimental. That's a sentimental pick. No doubt. A lot of people are picking that. I'm going out on the limb with Leonardo. Although any one of these guys could win.
Of course, they're all brilliant.
Chiwetel
Ejiofor.
Yeah, him too. Even him, 12 years of
guys in astonishing.
I think it's a good group. Although I would have liked to see Tom Hanks in there for Captain Phillips.
First movie I saw with Chiwetel Ejiofor, Kinky Boots.
Kinky Boots. I remember seeing that.
Yeah.
And then clicking right through it because I'm not watching Kinky Boots. I'm sorry.
See, now, I'm confident, so I had no problem watching that film. I enjoyed myself. I was very secure in myself. I was very secure.
I don't know. I saw boots up to the guy's thighs. I said, no, thank you. But anyways, I'm sure it was a great movie.
So that was your best actor picks. And now we're going to move on to best actress.
Okay.
Sounds
good.
Here we go. So,
okay, let me go first because there's only certain names I can pronounce. Okay.
That's
and I'm going to start with first nominated for best actress is Amy Adams in American Hustle. Boy, did she look good.
Yeah, we got Cate Blanchett in Blue Jasmine.
We got Sandra Bullock, who's all over the radio, all over the TV with all these commercials for Gravity because she doesn't want to die today, okay?
We got Judi Dench for Philomena.
And then we got Meryl Streep for August Osage County.
Osage.
You say Osage, I say Osage.
You got
County, okay? All right, Big Pauley, I went first last time, but let's go with you. Who do you like with the best actress?
I'm always a huge fan of Cate Blanchett. I would say something except for the fact that not that many people are going to be picking her for that. I believe that Sandra Bullock is going to win for Gravity.
Sandra Bullock, let me put, you got Pauley here, I got Vinnie here. You got Pauley for Sandra Bullock. You know what? That's a good pick, boy. I like that pick. I like the way you think. But I'm going a little different.
Of course you are.
Okay.
Of course you are.
I'm going with Amy Adams. I mean, come on. Did you see her in American Hustle?
Yeah, she did a good job.
Did you see the dresses she wore? They were cut down to her navel. Okay.
Yeah.
How do you not pick the best actress who's wearing a top like that? Who's wearing a dress like that?
You never know.
I like Amy Adams. I like everything she's done so far. I gotta believe she's gonna win Best Actress.
Of course, and again, just like we said, you got Judi Dench, you got Cate Blanchett, you got Meryl Streep. Meryl Streep is perennial.
Yeah.
Judi Dench in a movie that's based loosely on a true story. Philomena is based on a true story.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a really interesting.
Well, Meryl Streep, she gets nominated every year, doesn't she? Isn't she like a token nomination?
She like even if she doesn't do a movie, they still nominate.
They still nominate her for something.
And she won twice for that. So
I think she was the best seat filler. She was nominated for that.
All right. Well, that was Best Actress. Now, moving on, we're going to go to Best Supporting Actor. Is that right?
Okay, I'm going to let you go first.
Okay. The first guy we got up there from Captain Phillips, the guy who played the villain, quote-unquote villain, Barkhad Adbi.
Somalian. Say again.
Yes, from the Somalian. Thank you very much. From the Somalian population that is filling up the Twin Cities there in Minneapolis, did a wonderful job. All right, go on.
And then we got Bradley Cooper for, of course, American Hustle. Anything that has hustle in it, I just kind of like.
We also got Michael Fassbender for 12 Years a Slave.
Yes, very good. And then Jonah Hill for The Wolf of Wall Street. I'll tell you what, I saw some of the previews of this. I haven't seen the movie. I saw some of the previews. I thought Jonah Hill looked good in it. He had these fake teeth, the smile on him that just made him look like the character. Yeah. I thought in those little snippets he did very well. Yeah.
And finally, we got Jared Leto for Dallas Buyers Club. All right, so it's your turn to go.
Oh, it's my turn to go first. Well, I really like Bradley Cooper. I especially liked him in the A-Team.
Yeah,
I thought he was great in his face in the A-Team. In fact, I just like that movie. In fact, I'm going to take Bradley Cooper for the A-Team.
For the A-Team. Yeah.
Wait a minute, I can't do that.
American Hustle.
No, I'm not going to. You know what? I'm going to stay with Bradley Cooper. I'm going to say Bradley Cooper for American Hustle. Okay.
And my pick is Michael Fassbender for 12 Years a Slave. Now,
really?
Yeah.
The favorite is Jared Leto.
I do know that the likelihood
is Jay Leno's brother. Did you know that?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had no idea until I just made that up.
Yeah, that's very good because they spell it different, so.
Probably why they're not brothers.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
But I think Michael Fassbender did a great job.
I don't even know who this guy is, but he's 12 Years a Slave.
Yeah, well, he was Magneto in First Class, in X-Men First Class. He was Magneto.
Magneto?
Yeah.
Magneto?
Yeah.
Magneto?
Yeah.
That guy?
Yeah.
12 Years a Slave?
Yeah.
He was a slave?
No, he wasn't a slave. He was a slave owner.
Oh, he's a slave
had
owner.
An astonishingly savage moment in the film.
That would explain
where
him
he
being,
beats
yeah.
the. Oh my God,
that's not good.
It's just
You know what?
He's amazing.
You know what? I like your pick, Paul. It's a good pick. I like the way you think, but I'm still sticking with Bradley Cooper. You know why?
Because 18.
Because he makes it with Jennifer Lawrence in American Hustle. How did he not pick that guy?
Yeah,
all right, come on. He's making it out with the hot chicks as well as Amy Adams. Come on, these are some hot looking babes.
All righty, so now we're moving on to the best supporting actress.
Yes. And I'm gonna.
What we got here?
I'm gonna let you go first. Paul.
Okay, so we got Sally Hawkins for Blue Jasmine.
Yes, and we got my Jennifer Lawrence. Come on, how do you go wrong with Jennifer Lawrence in American Hustle? Again, American and Hustle. How do you go bad with that?
Yeah. We have the beautiful Lupita Nyong'o for 12 Years a Slave.
How do you read my writing? I have no idea.
I don't know.
I tried to. I just put symbols there, and you still read it. That's amazing.
Well, thank you.
And then you got Julia Roberts for August. I wrote Augusta though.
Yeah, you did.
August Osage County.
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you did. And finally, June Squibb for Nebraska.
June Squibb for Nebraska.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who I believe was a local actress, like somebody who had not even really worked. I'd have to look that up to make sure.
Okay, great. All right. So who do you like, Pauley?
Lupita Nyong'o for 12 Years a Slave. She just tore it up, and I think she's going to be the favorite coming out of the underground.
I'm going to take a flyer on the Pretty Woman. Are you kidding me? Come on. She's pulling out the thigh highs, the Julie Garden wig, and she's going to come right as Pretty Woman. Even though she's playing somebody else, she's coming out as Pretty Woman. I like Julia Roberts.
All right, best director. We've got, David O. Russell for American Hustle.
No, I want to say that one.
Okay, so
David O. Russell at American Hustle.
Alfonso Cuarón for Gravity.
Yeah, we got Alexander Payne for Nebraska.
Steve McQueen for 12 Years a Slave.
I thought Steve McQueen was dead.
No, it's a new Steve McQueen.
A new Steve McQueen?
It's a British Steve McQueen.
A bionic Steve McQueen?
No, a British Steve McQueen.
British Steve McQueen. Yeah. I see. You got to say it with a British accent then.
Yeah. It's a British Steve McQueen.
You went Cockney on us, eh? And then, of course, Martin Scorsese for The Wolf of Wall Street. Okay, Big Paul, I went first last time. Who do you like? No, wait a minute. You went first. My turn. Yeah. Martin Scorsese, The Wolf of Wall Street. Come on. How do you go pick against him? Yeah. You got a guy who's been dead for how many years? Been nominated. Alexander Payne. He's a pain in the ass for I can't even pronounce Gravity guy. And David O. Russell. I'm going with Martin Scorsese. Come on.
Alfonso Cuarón, Gravity. That's who my
Gravity.
pick is for that.
Okay, that's a good pick. Boy.
That's going to be
pick.
a thing. So
good pick. And finally,
best picture.
Where are we at? We're running out of time.
We got American Hustle. We got Captain Phillips. We got Dallas Buyers Club.
Gravity. Her. Nebraska.
Philomena. 12 Years a Slave.
And The Wolf of Wall Street. What do you like for best picture?
I am thinking that it's going to, as much as I don't want it to be, it's going to be American Hustle, even though I'd love to see Captain Phillips get it.
I'm going with The Wolf of Wall Street. Clean sweep. Okay, that's it for what?
That's it from us. I'm Big Pauley. This is Vinnie 2 times for We Pick the Winners. And
Where?
Where?
We pick the winners. That's it. We're out.
All right.
Wow. This guy just ran out the door. Did you see that?
Yeah.
All right, my friend.
All right. Well, it's been another episode of Drinks at Sunset with
The Wise Guys.
Thank you for joining us on Drinks at Sunset with the Wise Guys. That's all the great original entertainment we have for you tonight. Join us next week for more original entertainment. We now return you to our regularly scheduled programming.
It's the Hollywood Rockin' Wrap-Up with your host, Jason Hadley. Mel Gibson's ex-wife lost half her settlement after a judge ruled her Howard Stern interview violated their divorce agreement. While Gibson pled no contest to domestic violence charges, she's legally bound not to speak in reference to her ex-husband because, from what I hear,
the first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club.
Jersey Shore's Snooki told reporters she's pregnant with baby number 2. Wait a second, when did we start only counting the ones that she keeps?
Well, I actually thought I was pregnant last week.
The nominees are in for this year's annual Academy Awards. However, my vote for Best Picture would be Kendall Jenner, Instagram. The story of a young woman's struggle to gain popularity over her 3 half-sisters by posting her breasts on the internet 2 weeks after her 18th birthday. Set against the backdrop of a reality TV insane asylum run by its most dangerous inmate, their mother. And that's the Hollywood Rockin' Wrap-Up. Follow us on Twitter at Rockin' Wrap-Up.
And the Oscar goes to...